All right, good morning, everyone. We are here on day number 8 of the Pythion Fusion event, and we have some interesting things to talk about. So first of all, 70 out of 100 on the fragments. We have completed everything up until this point. Spider tournament is done. We are not going to worry about the 4-star chicken because it's not really useful to me and it's not worth the energy. So not interested in that. Champion training is done. I will more likely than not be getting this ancient shard and potentially the epic book because I do have to finish out dungeon divers. But as far as the fragments go, we got all the fragments from champion training. Classic Arena starts tomorrow, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but now I am, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. If we go over to events, artifact enhancement is not done. We have another high point threshold fragment slot, so I'm not too excited about that. I also wasn't planning on doing this, but we will most likely end up having to. And Dungeon Divers we're almost done with, so this ends today in about 22 hours, so we'll finish this hopefully with champion training, running campaign, and if not, we can run a couple dungeons just to get it over with. But the main thing I want to cover today is the start of the summon rush. So we're at 70 out of 100 fragments. We only need 30 more. If you take a look at the upcoming events we have Classic Arena Takedown and Dragon. Those are the two tournaments we have left. Dungeon Divers, which is going on now. Artifact Enhancement, which is going on now. Summon Rush, which just opened up. And then a third Artifact Enhancement that starts on January 24th. So if you do all of those events, you'll get the 30 fragments. If you do the full Summon Rush, you'll get, what, 50 fragments? Because it's 5 and 15, so 45 fragments. Now, if you watch my earlier videos, we talked about the fragment event for Mighty Uko. Mighty Uko had a similar split in fragments for Summon Rush in 5 and 15. I believe the first threshold of points was 2150 for 5 fragments and 3500 for 15. And I would say that's standard. A lot of content creators will say save, 7 sacreds to guarantee completing Summon Rush. And so, people plan on 7 sacreds. They'll pull excess for 2x. They'll pull excess for guaranteed champion events. They'll pull for 10x that they're really interested in. So that was the information that we had to go off of and that we were given, and that was in the past. So now let's look at the Summon Rush, and I say all that to preface you and warn you about how bad this is going to look. So we have our first set of 5 here, 2150, standard, good, okay, right? But we look at 3000, there's no fragments. We look at 3500, there's no fragments. And then it goes from 3500 to 4925. This is insane. And it's insane because, so many reasons. We've seen in the past guaranteed champion events increase in required shards, right? So real quick, we also have a guaranteed Void Shard event for a Chemtum. Now, a Chemtum's a really good champ, really good poisoner, really good hex champ. I think would help a lot of people in wave content and dungeons where poison is effective. So ice golem, dragon, not necessarily spider, and potentially even fire knight because he has multi hitters. Um, so this champion would be good for doom tower waves, bosses that are susceptible to poison, dragon dungeon, ice golem, and fire knight. Right, not so much for spider. So this is a good champion, but it's guaranteed for 40 voids. Now, no one that I have seen, no other content creator I've seen has recommended this as being good. And just to put it in perspective, Godseeker Aniri, which is one of the best void epics in the game, and probably even deserves to be legendary. I have mine here. This champion, which is god tier healer for all content, was 20 or 25 voids, right? So we're talking about one of the best void epics in the game for 20 or 25 voids, I can't remember. And now we've got this champion, which is good, but it's a damage dealer and it's for 40. So, you know, inflation is really hitting raid, and everything just seems to be going up. And you know, this brings me to another point. A lot of people ask me, you know, why do I save so many shards? Why don't I pull? And it's really to protect myself from things like this happening. You know, we see the prices of things going up in terms of events and tournaments and shards and summons. And so I'm holding these shards to protect myself. I mean, you know, I'd love to pull all of them and see what I get. Most likely it's not going to be what I want, but you know, I'd love to get that, you know, that dopamine rush that most people get when they pull shards. But yeah, this is the reason, between these guaranteed events, you know, going up in price, and these summon rushes. I mean, this is almost 10 sacreds, right? So you get 500 points per sacred. This is almost 5k. And you know, it's just such a huge leap from 3,500 to almost 5k. No one's going to be happy about this. Anybody who says this is okay, this is a good business practice, or anyone that's just like, oh, this is, you know, kind of shocking. Okay, not the best. Like, it's just shit. Like, the rewards aren't getting better. And yeah, this champion is good, maybe even great, but that doesn't mean you have to move the bar so farther down the path for people to get this champion. I mean, this champion is not game breaking. It's not, you know, it's not going to solve all your problems. It's good, again, right? People are comparing him to Duchess. But it's not necessary to do this. It's not necessary to throw this, you know, 6-star legendary chaos ore, which is pretty much useless because it's not going to reroll you the armor piece and the stat slots you want, right? And, you know, so this is useless. And then they kick it from 35 to 49. You know, why isn't this 35, 4,000, 4,500? Like, you see this is going up in 500 increments, except for here, which goes up 6. But why does it go from, you know, 3,000, 3,500? Okay, 500, I see that. Now 49.25. It's just a huge leap. And I just think it's bad. It's bad. It's bad publicity. No one's going to like this. Everyone's going to be smearing them. And I just don't understand why they would do it. I mean, they have so many opportunities day in and day out to make the game better and to reward players more, and they just don't do it. So it's disappointing for this fusion. It's disappointing for this event, and it should be for everyone an eye-opener into the future of where this game is going. Fusions are going to get more expensive. Events are going to get more expensive. Tournaments are going to get more expensive. Summon events are going to get more expensive. So now I would recommend, if you don't have a minimum, if you're not starting a fusion event with a minimum of 10 sacreds, good luck, because these things are just going to get more expensive, and they're most likely going to contain 2 summon events with Champion Chase and Summon Rush. So you're going to have to pull for 2 events. You're going to need, if you want to do this, you don't need 10 sacreds, but 10 sacreds is safe. Yeah, you can grind it out with voids, but then, there goes your void reserves. You can grind out with ancients, but 20 points ancient. This should, come on, this should at least be 50. Make this 50 minimum. 20 is too low. So yeah, this is I had to get on and make a video because this is really disturbing. And my plan right now, so I always talk about my plan in these videos. I'm going to go for the 2150, and I'm going to suck it up and sacrifice some silver and some energy for the other events. I wanted to complete the Summon Rush in its entirety, so that I could, one, finish the event early and not have to worry about other events in the future, and 2 was to save energy and mainly save silver. Silver's was the big one, because these artifact enhancements, they're not cheap. They're moving the bar on these too. I think this used to be down here at about 3,300, and now we're at almost 5K here. So this is going to take a lot of silver to complete. We have another one after this if you only get 5 fragments from Summon Rush, so keep that in mind, unless you've got at least 40 million silver. Luckily, I recouped some silver from the last event through Spider, selling stuff from Spider. But yeah, I think I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and dip into my energy pool and my silver pool, and just do all the upcoming events, because I am not going to pull 10 sacreds for a fusion. That's almost a guaranteed legendary event, is 10 sacreds. And it's not cheap. Plarium values sacreds at about $25 a piece. So you're telling me this one event for this one champion, and I'm not even getting the champion, I'm getting pieces of a champion that I had to complete all events prior to get it, is costing me $250. If you're lucky, you get a sacred for $20, so $200 minimum, right? Just to complete this event, just to get pieces of a champion, not a champion, to get pieces of a champion. And they bait you to pull more past these 5 with 1,500 anniversary points, when we're getting 500 anniversary points for these other events. But this is all crap anyways. This Immortal Soulstone, it's going to be a 3-star rare champion. You're going to get upset about that. This Legendary Chaos Ore, it's not going to take your crit damage Savage Glove with quad roll and resistance and roll it into quad roll crit rate. It's just not going to happen. So don't get your hopes up about that. So these things are pretty much useless. I'm not interested in them. Kicking this so far down the road leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. So the plan is, despite what I had intended on doing, is to go for the 5 fragments here. I'll pull 4 sacreds, and I'll finish it off with mystery shards, most likely, just to finish my champ training, get some food, and then do all the other events. Do the 2 artifact enhancements, do the Dragon Tournament, Classic Arena. Again, it's not ideal, but it is, I think it's a smart thing to do. I think it's the safe thing to do. And, I'm only one person, but hopefully multiple people will do the same thing, and their analytics will show, like, hey, most people didn't go. Maybe we did move it too far down. I'm thinking in Fairy Tale Land, they don't give a shit, right? They're not going to say, oh, our analytics show that not many people went for the 15 fragments, so we're going to dial it back. It's not going to happen. I think this is here to stay. It wouldn't surprise me if they kicked it further, to 5,500 or 6,000 points. So I would just tell people, be mindful of that. Keep that in mind. If that is the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to say, and is the reason you quit playing Raid, hey, I get it. I understand. It's getting out of control. But that's my rant on that and where I'm at with the fusion and my future plan. Let's go ahead and pull my clan boss chest because clan boss just reset. I usually do this not off camera, but I make a separate video for these to show people and myself also what I'm getting from these chests. Because sometimes we do get lucky, and I've told people, I don't buy shards. None of these shards I have are purchased. These are, rewards through events, rewards through tournaments, and from clan boss. So none of these shards are paid for. I don't believe in doing that anymore now that I have a healthy champion roster, and I don't think I need to because I'm able to hit brutal nightmare and ultra nightmare clan boss every day, so I should, in theory, be set on shards. So let's pull these, see what we get. 5-star flat attack, that's a sell. I'll take the gems though. Got an ancient shard, not bad, not bad. HP and crit rate. This didn't high roll in HP. Not gonna keep it though. Oh, got an epic book. Now, is this speed? I'm gonna guess these are not speed boots. Yep, flat defense. That's a quick sell. And we got a legendary book. That's pretty good. Legendary book from Nightmare. We will take that. Let's see if we get any. We get a sacred from Ultra Nightmare. Got an ancient. Trash. Nope, just ancients today. So this is another example of why I'm very conservative with my sacred pulls. People say, oh, you hit, Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare, you get the top chest, there's a chance to get a sacred, even a void, chance to get sacred void. Like, you should, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. It's like, what happens when I go, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, no sacred, right? And I'm kind of depending on those sacreds coming in to replenish my storages because I'm using them for tournaments, I'm using them for events, I'm using them for fusions, right? So what happens when the odds are not in my favor and I go a long time without getting sacreds? Well, then my collection gets low and I start to get nervous. So just because I have a lot and just because I am hitting clan boss, which gives me a chance, doesn't mean it's guaranteed. So it's nice to be conservative and save and be mindful that these are very valuable, and just because you have them and you can pull them doesn't mean you should. And don't let Plarium bait you into pulling 10 for 15 fragments, because that's, like I said, very close to a guaranteed legendary champion, and here you're just pulling for pieces of a champion and you're getting some crap rewards along the way. So keep that in mind. I would advise everyone to pull for the 2150 and get your resources together to finish the upcoming events. Yes, it sucks having to do 2 artifact enhancements to finish it out, and Classic Arena's easy, Dragon's easy, but the 2 artifact enhancements are the things that I really hate. But it is what it is. I'd rather spend silver and energy, which are way easier to refill than sacred shards. And I'd also rather pull 4 sacreds than 10. I mean, it's just a no-brainer to me. So that's all. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're upset about this. Let me know if you're pulling for 2150. Let me know if you're pulling for the full 20 fragments. I'd be very interested. So that's all for the video, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.